Fifth grade subclaim A. In fifth grade, we move beyond just this basic understanding of fractions and decimals, and we start to do things with them at a very high level. As you notice in this example, as I go from level 5 down to level 2, which is only partial command of the content, my level of thinking and my use of the mathematical practices diminishes, I guess I would say. So that tells you, if you're a fifth grade mathematics teacher, that you need to really take a look at what you're having kids do with addition and subtraction and operations with decimals. You know, if you look at this level 2 partial command, basically you're just computing. You know, you're using some models, some concrete models or drawings, but you're not really doing anything with it, and there's no regrouping involved. And you see, as you go to that left-hand column, with our ultimate goal being, for many of our students, distinguished command, for the bulk of our students, strong command, that we have to not only do the addition and subtraction, but then we have to really understand the strategy, and we need to apply that concept to a real-world context. Other topical areas for subclaim A, and subclaim A in fifth grade is pretty much as full as subclaim A in third grade. So we have this addition and subtraction with decimals, adding and subtraction in context with fractions, so it's not just enough to know how to do the fractions, multiplying with whole numbers. And an important thing to note there is you will have some scaffolded word problems where students will be led through the word problems, as well as unscaffolded word problems. Quotients and dividends, understanding what those mean, multiplying and dividing with fractions, interpreting fractions. So needless to say, fractions and decimals in fifth grade should be a major focus for you. Recognizing volume, finding volume, comparing decimals, place value, multiplication and scaling, and interpreting numerical expressions. And that involves the order of operations. So you can see in fifth grade, as we did in third grade, there is a whole lot going on with subclaim A. So as you look at your program with these subclaim A topical areas, those are the ones that you really want to focus on with RTI. You really want to make sure the rigor is there in your curriculum and that students are displaying mastery of that content. Subclaim A also involves mathematical content, but it's called additional and supporting content. So that's that content that really kind of goes hand in glove with the subclaim A material. And so as you look at subclaim B, it's less important, if you will, I guess you could say, but it also is kind of, you know, content that gives more meaning and maybe more depth to what's going on. It is certainly, you know, we have talked in past webinars about the shifts in the Common Core involve this coherence, and so we have this horizontal coherence right here. So what you want to do is look at your subclaim B topical areas and see how it connects to the subclaim A. So let's look at some specific examples. In third grade, you'll see a direct connection to what we talked about in subclaim A, but a little bit of a different focus as far as how maybe what we're doing with subclaim B is, you know, connected to subclaim A. So for instance, you know, we had a multiplication focus in third grade, but in subclaim B, we see that we're starting to look at multiples of 10 and really multiplying and connecting that place value to that multiplication process and procedure, as well as a change in the numbers that are used as kids go from level 2, only partial command, to level 5. So as I look at my program, I want to see when I'm multiplying one-digit numbers, if I'm involving these ranges of numbers as well as these strategies. You also see a focus on scaled graphs, on measurement and data, understanding shapes, perimeter and area, and particularly with perimeter and area, You want to focus on looking at shapes that have the same perimeter in different areas, or the same area but different perimeters. Because what we're trying to help students understand is that complex relationship between shape and the measurement of that shape. So third grade subclaim B has a real connection to third grade subclaim A, but we want to be sure, especially for instance like this scaled graphs can certainly go along with some of the subclaim A information as far as you know, the measurement data that they're collecting and whatnot. So let's look at grade 4 subclaim B. Grade 4 subclaim B gets a little more into the use of the numbers in a different context, with one exception, and I'll talk about that in a moment. And so you see here that we're still dealing with some of the basic operations that we were dealing with in subclaim A, but I'm getting into more of understanding how to find factor pairs, how to determine multiples, and how I do that. So you notice here that in partial command I can do that, but I'm using a hundreds chart. Okay, and as I go up to the more stronger command of the content, I take away some of these supports, but also I have to do an exhaustive finding of those factor pairs. So what you want to do is take a look at, when you're dealing with factors and multiples in 4th grade, is how much scaffolding are you doing with the children. And you want to start certainly with that scaffolding, but eventually over the course of the school year kind of wean them off of you, if you will. Wanted to share some other topical areas for subclaim B. Measurement and conversion, where you have to find missing side lengths for calculating area and perimeter, as well as understanding the measurement units within one system to solve word problems. So we're converting, for instance, between kilograms and grams, but I'm not converting across systems. Representing and interpreting data, which in the Common Core involves collecting a lot of measurement data, so there's that horizontal coherence again. Geometric measurement, and that's one thing that makes 4th grade pretty important, is that 4th grade is where we start to look at angle measures and using a protractor to measure and sketch angles, and solving problems with composing and decomposing angles, putting angles together, taking angles apart, and the whole beginning notions of defining some of those basic geometric postulates that involve lines, line segments, rays, angles, perpendicular and parallel lines. So 4th grade kind of has an aside of geometry that's a little bit different than 3rd and 5th, and it's that important idea of angle measure. So you definitely want to look at that with your program. The last piece then is patterning involved in subclaim B in 4th grade.